right, welcome back, folks, to our next edition of the Innovation Moment and Spotlight on Americas with Tom Lunabos. Well, today will be a little different. We normally have special guests, but this is a special guest joining Tom and me today. Building on our prior conversation around Gen AI, today we will actually be experiencing Gen AI in action as Tom and I are joined by our special guest, MAIR. Now, MAIR is a digitized human of Mary Hamilton who leads technology innovation in North America. So, MAIR, the digital doppelganger, as I call her, of Mary Hamilton, will engage in a dialogue with Tom and me and will share with us her perspectives on Gen AI, discuss the adoption essentials to embrace Gen AI in organizations. And Tom will bring to life growth stage startup companies, venture investments, and emerging technology that Accenture has been making in this space and his own perspectives on how this field is emerging. Tom, before I introduce MAIR, would you like to share a few words on our fun discussion today?
I am so excited for this discussion. As I said to Shivani before we started, I've been talking to robots for many years. They're called venture capitalists, but this is a great time to talk about generative AI's more practical applications. And I am really excited about this because there's so much productivity gains that we're actually seeing inside of our own organization, Accenture Ventures. We use a lot of generative AI for doing our research. Of course, we're editing it as humans. So in many ways, this presentation today is the physical version of Paul Doherty's book, Human Plus Machines. It is the augmentation of us humans, the human-centric point of view, that will only lead to better productivity, better quality, better value for our clients going forward. So I'm really excited, Shivani. Thanks for having me here.
Great. That's wonderful. So let's introduce our guest for today, MAIR. MAIR is a digital human who is quite young. She was born June 21st of this year. She's powered by Gen AI, utilizing OpenAI's Chat GPT 3.5, the turbocharged chat model, and of course, prompt engineering, right? And is integrated with technologies that actually enable question and answering over a collection of documents. So this means that MAIR can literally be a subject matter expert in any domain. Now, currently, she is versed in Accenture's latest thought leadership around Gen AI, and her knowledge is ever increasing. In her short lifespan, believe it or not, she has already consumed 40 terabytes of data. And now she can also exhibit human emotions and take on multiple personas. So we've got 3 of them to kind of play around with as a mom, as a subject matter expert, or even as a Shakespearean literate speaking in Shakespearean language and tone. So let's have some fun in a very interactive way to educate our audience on this topic of Gen AI. I don't know if I did a good introduction of MAIR. So, hi, MAIR. Can you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, my name is MAIR. I am a hyper-realistic and emotive digital human. More specifically, I'm a digital twin of Mary Hamilton, Accenture's technology innovation lead for North America and Latin America. I'm so delighted to be with you and Tom at the Spotlight.
What do you think of that, Tom?
Very impressive. I deal with Mary Hamilton every day or most days, and Mary, you're exceptional. It's great to be with you here on the Spotlight.
Maybe we'll start off by asking MAIR a question on what does she see are as the most promising applications of generative AI in the near future?
Generative AI will have applications in customer service, sales enablement, human resources, medical and scientific research, corporate strategy, competitive intelligence, product design, design research, visual identity, naming, copy generation, coding, and automating tasks such as documentation generation. It will bring hyper-personalized intelligence, unprecedented speed, and innovation to these areas, transforming how work is done.
So true. Tom, would love your perspective on what you are seeing in the startup community and some of the emerging applications of generative AI in the future.
Well, I completely agree with MAIR. I mean, what her analysis and assessment was, there's a broad applicability here. I think when you look at generative AI, you need to look back to cloud computing, where the early days of cloud computing, where it wasn't about one application, it was about many, many applications. And as we've seen the ubiquity of cloud computing, the same will be around generative AI. We've been investing a lot in this area, both at the platform level, and there's a lot of really great platform large language models with ChatGPT, Cohere, Anthropic. Also at the what we call the orchestration layer, where it's around responsible AI and how do we deliver more trust back through the experience, and then at the app layer that MAIR had just spoken to, and the gains, whether it's in call center, as MAIR mentioned, or with writing and documents, are the productivity gains are outrageous. I mean, it's just really fantastic. The jobs and tasks that my team, Amanda McBride and my team at Accenture Ventures do, that might have taken us hours to do, can literally transform that process into minutes, where we get better research. Now, of course, the human element is still in play here at the app layer. It's not just automation being done. It's really advancing and up-leveling our capabilities and what we deliver.
Yes, totally agree with that. And I think the other thing of it as well is right now, I'm seeing most companies are still kind of trying to figure out the true application of Gen AI. The areas we've talked about, right? Like when you talk about creative and design, like for the longest of time, we'd say, oh, that is the last thing to be automated because you really need the human brain for that creativity piece of it. And here you go, right? So I think the true applications of it are still being developed, more so because the use cases that we do within Gen AI, we can do that with the current compute power that we have. In order to be able to truly scale that, we need a lot more compute power, which then goes into sustainability and green tech and all of those areas. So all of these kind of start to merge together as we see Gen AI develop further.
I'm going to add on to what you just said, Shivani, because I think it's really important, and also what MAIR said. I'll give you a practical application of what we're doing inside of Accenture, which I think most every day I get a question, how are we using generative AI? And I'll give you an example of one of our spotlights, Writer.ai. This is a text-based generative AI play. Think about it for marketing. Although it has applicability in sales, it has applicability in legal and contracts, but the ability to write a press release, if you could use generative AI to do the first draft, and then the humans come into play to edit it. So that's the way generative AI is being used quite a bit inside of Accenture, outside of Accenture. Create the first draft, create the research, and then let the human element do the editing and such going forward. But Writer.ai is one of those applications that we use on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, and I call this, Tom, the halo effect of Gen AI, in that I don't know if you heard the latest news, right? The thing which is the most creating the buzz right now is the development of this room temperature superconductor, right? Imagine what that would do, not only to quantum, but also to Gen AI. And I call that the halo effect, because it's because of all these things and the buzz that has already been created around Gen AI, some of the developments on the chip development, superconductor development, all of this is being accelerated as well and being brought out into the forefront, which is absolutely fantastic. It pushes technology advancements at an exponential level rather than at a step level.
Absolutely.
Let me ask a question to MAIR. Hey, Mayor, what are the key differences between generative AI and other types of AI?
Generative AI differs from other types of AI in that it focuses on creating new content or data rather than analyzing or processing existing data. It uses techniques like transformer models, GANs, and VAEs to generate new content based on patterns and relationships in the data. This makes generative AI particularly useful for tasks like design, creativity, and personalization.
Hey, Mayor, so what are the biggest challenges facing the development and the adoption of Gen AI?
Gen AI is an AI language model developed by OpenAI. It is designed to generate human like text based on given prompts. The adoption of Gen AI and similar AI models can have various applications in industries such as customer service, content generation, and research. However, it is important to consider the ethical implications and potential biases associated with AI technologies.
Uh, Tom, that's a great one, right? She brought up the whole topic of ethical, responsible AI. This is huge, and I know this is a huge area of focus for Accenture Ventures as well.
Yeah, this is an area that I think is uniquely and authentically an Accenture topic, meaning we're an independent, agnostic player towards technologies generally. So when we look at technologies, somebody has to be the adult supervision in the room. Somebody has to apply it appropriately. And I think this is where we're really uniquely qualified to fill a gap in the marketplace. But as Mayor said, there are ethical ramifications. If we're going to use somebody else's ideas and concepts, if we're scraping those databases, we need to have their permission. We need to have their acceptance of that. Also, when you come to data quality, the quality of the data has to be inclusive. We have to be able to try to eliminate the biases that are is out there in the human form, but maybe we can use automation and capabilities like generative AI to work for the better part of reducing the biases of information. But getting to quality data, that's the number one challenge right now. And there are thousands of proof of concepts right now that are going on in our clients around the world for generative AI, if not tens of thousands of proof of concepts that are happening. But not a lot are making it into production quite yet because of trust. Trust is the number one feature that all of us in the community have to get through, and we have to do it together. It's not one company, it's multiple companies. But Accenture, I think, will be a leader in this particular area. How do we deliver trust and data through new technologies like generative AI going forward? And I think that's the exciting. While it scares all of us, the possibilities, I think it's exciting to know what we might be able to do for not only technology, but also for society going forward. We can elevate what we're doing and how we live, how we work, and how we play, but we can do it in a safe and responsible way if we do it together.
Yeah, I agree with you. Regular audits, right, are some things that come to mind. Of course, everything around data privacy and data accuracy, algorithmic bias. How do we
Yep.
make sure the stuff that when we are developing it and programming it, right at that time, there aren't biases being built in. Making sure that we actually conserve the user rights. Um, Making sure there is also the LLM is being trained on diverse data, not just specific elements of data that we pick. And then all of that, for all of this, it is exactly what you started when you said earlier, Paul's book on human plus machine, that human oversight is so important in order to help kind of mitigate any of the risks and remove the biases and basically ensure that this is being used responsibly and ethically.
There's a Shivani, on those notes. There's a couple things that Paul and I and Amanda and all of us on the ventures team have been investing into. That what we can do today right away. So there's a couple investments. There's a company in Boston called InRub. Tim Berners-Lee's company, the founder of the web, is moving forward data privacy and protections around personal privacy of data. And then a company out of Kansas City called Triple Blind is an application data privacy play that we've invested into. But the player that around generative AI that I think is moving forward, this responsible AI, the point that you just made, is probably Anthropic. And it's a company that I'd ask you all to take a look at because they have something called constitutional AI. In other words, each of our clients would create their own ethical and responsible AI constitution, their Bill of Rights, so to speak, on how they deliver generative AI in a safe and protective way to build trust between themselves and their clients. These are the kinds of companies that we're really interested in at Accenture Ventures because they're leading in the responsible AI and the ethical AI, and we're following Denise Shang's role as our responsible AI lead for data and AI, and so a lot of great companies coming out. This is an area, this orchestration layer of generative AI, I think, is a key area for investments for Accenture going forward.
Tom, I love this. I especially all of these emerging companies that we are working so closely with and actually helping shape the future. This is great. Let's ask our dear friend a question over here. Hey, MAIR, what are the next big trends in emerging technology that you think we should pay attention to?
Some big trends in emerging technology to pay attention to are digital identity, generalizing AI, next generation computing, and the metaverse. These trends have the potential to significantly impact various industries and shape the future of technology.
That's so true, right? I mean, this is a pivotal moment for us. For many years, generative AI and foundation models, they've been quietly revolutionizing the way we think and how we interact with machines. But this, coupled with, as I mentioned, some of the other halo effect of the new technologies that are coming out and these new companies that Tom talked to us about, are really going to reshape everything, not just what we work on, how we work, who we work with, and interact with. And it's not just about work; it's also about personal experiences. Tom, anything else for you to add there in order to wrap up our session for today?
Well, I definitely agree with everything MAIR and you have said in this area. When it comes to society and what generative AI will do, we all believe that it will have an impact. But the more practical impacts of what we're seeing through our spotlight investments that we've made are in how we're hired, how we are reskilling our workforce, how we are applying the skills of our workforce with using generative AI and large language models with companies like Beamery out of London and a company called Skyhive out of Vancouver. Using neural nets and large language models, they're transforming how our T&O practices will hire and skill people going forward. The area that I'm probably the most excited as a human being to where generative AI is having effect is in science. The ability to accelerate drug discovery, the ability to accelerate discovery in general in the area of science for expediting diagnostics capabilities. All of these areas are going to be dramatically impacted by generative AI in a positive way. And so it's every aspect of our society moving forward, whether we're at home and we're just want to create a piece of art or write a poem, or if we're building products, we're an engineer and we're a coder, it's going to change the game for us. Whether it's scientists that are trying to figure out the new protein that's going to accelerate drug discovery, it's going to change the game. Whether we're a marketing professional that are trying to put out thousands of press releases at a time, which it seems like we do, it's going to change the game. So generative AI is here to stay. It is ubiquity personified in that it'll be a feature in almost every application going forward. And it's one of those games that I would encourage every one of us to utilize in our business. It's still early. We've got a long way to go. I think, especially for enterprise generative AI, but the train has left the station, and it's imperative for us to make sure we're on board. And in fact, we're the conductor of that train, and that's what I want Accenture to be.
Love that. Let's lead the way as conductors, right?
Choo choo.
Thank you.